call me.
We're doing all kinds of different things now.
Oh,
So
yes, we are.
it's very confusing.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I'm handling the chat tonight, so please chat with us. And I'll pass it on to Beth, and she'll talk directly to you.
If you are live, and if you are not live, please comment whenever, and I will always answer in writing unless Facebook makes a mess that I can't see it, which happens sometimes. Anyway, we have a very interesting show for you tonight. We hope it's very interesting to you. It's interesting to us. And the title of the show is We're Jumping Off the Cliff. And by
Yes.
we're talking about us.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yeah, right.
So there it is. So why did we choose this topic for tonight?
Because we've been jumping off a cliff,
Yes,
and we've done that many times in our adult lives.
we have, and we're doing it right now. And I just want to talk about the whole thing about taking big chances. What are big chances? What makes them big? And how do we react? And how do we react when things don't work out well, and when they do work out well, and all that kind of stuff? So we hope there it is. We are on.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. And we have a couple of comments.
Tracy says hello and sends a heart of love. Back to you, Tracy.
I'm so glad you made it, Tracy.
And then Tracy also says, not sure if it's my phone, but I hear the piano, but Beth and James, your voices are so soft. Oh, wait, yours needs to be on. Oh, much better.
Thank you, Tracy. What would we do with our wonderful following? Because there we go.
And then Pat says, no sound.
But hopefully that has
Hopefully
now
that
been
has
corrected.
corrected.
Okay, James, you want to speak? I'll check your
Yes,
setting.
yes. I should be showing up here. Am I not registering?
No.
My slot is empty.
Yeah, you forgot to plug. James forgot to plug in his microphone. But now we can hear Beth, at least. And James is going to get plugged in. So, anyway, this is us, right? This is what you get when you're watching a show run by people in their late 70s. And we got Pat Nelson, no sound, can only hear the piano. Hopefully that's not the case anymore. And
Testing.
Elizabeth says hello and sends hearts. Okay.
And I tested it,
Yes.
and I'm showing up.
He is showing up now. And Catalina says good evening, much better for Beth, and hopefully for James.
Hopefully you can hear me too.
Thank you. Every time you come to this show, it's like jumping off a cliff because you just never know where you're going to land. Anyway, so I want to tell you.
Oh, Tracy says can hear you both now.
Excellent.
And Elizabeth says you all sound good.
All right.
Don't we always sound good?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, thank you for coming and for putting up with us. So, well, we put up with you too, so what can I say?
Yeah. Hello, namaste. I'm Rabbi Chamaling Rai. Robbie. Oh, I'm sorry. Robbie Chamaling Rai, watching from Kathmandu.
Hello, Kathmandu.
Ooh, all the way from Kathmandu.
Really, if he can make it, we can make it, right?
And Todd says, hi there. Hello, Todd.
Hello,
yes.
Todd. Oh, we're having all kinds of, I love it. We have so many people here already, and you missed all the mayhem when we didn't have our
I wasn't plugged in.
He wasn't plugged in. My microphone was off. Anyway,
Hopefully I'm plugged in now.
Back to the topic. We're jumping off the cliff. How about you? So, I want to tell you what this is about. First of all, I want to tell you about our jumping off the cliff, and you're going to say, that is jumping off the cliff? I thought you meant, there's things like you get into a marriage. Oh, look. There's Island.
Has a picture with sending a heart of love.
Oh, and she's wearing glasses, which I really like. So thank you. Hello there, Island, if we're pronouncing your name correctly. So, everybody has done something or many things that feel like jumping off a cliff, like getting into a relationship with somebody, getting married, having children, right? These
moving,
getting a new job.
Quitting your job without prospects.
Right. Oh.
Jenny says, you both are so dear. God bless you both. Jenny, God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, okay. So we've all done things that were pretty risky,
Oh yeah.
right? I should say, I think all of us have done things that are pretty risky. Maybe some people haven't. Or you should try. But anyway, I want to talk about a risky thing we're doing now, and that isn't very risky to you, maybe, but to us, it's very risky. And then I want to talk about this whole issue of jumping off a cliff and things that have happened to us and how that has impacted our willingness to do that again,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, how are we jumping off a cliff right now? Well, it's about our music. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. This we already talked
we
about this
have
one.
been, yeah, that's my mistake. So, we have been doing some different music. Okay, we have the improvisational piano music Thursday nights, and that can be pretty wild. But then we've been doing songs. People say, oh, these are songs. Like people say, oh, yeah, they have lyrics and they're pretty and we like them and all of that stuff. So this is very exciting. And, people have been loving them and we've been getting a
Mm.
lot of likes and loves. And we looked at each other and said, wow, for a change, instead of me doing some crazy piano improvisations that a few people love but most people don't, we have something now that people like. Ooh, goody, goody, right? Their songs. Okay. So, guess what? We decided not to do the songs anymore.
Mm.
Now, is that really jumping off a cliff? In a way,
Well, tell them what we're doing instead,
well, indeed.
because that is jumping off a cliff
That
in my
is.
mind.
Yes. Well, what it is, I improvise 100%. Well, now James and I are improvising together at the same time. I don't mean that I'm laying down a track that I improvise and that he adds something. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. I start to do my crazy improvs and he improvises with me.
Yeah.
And
We don't know what's going to happen until we start making music.
that's right. And then it happens. And sometimes we're on video, like we put up a video today, but tomorrow night at our magical piano improvisations, we're going to do one improv together. And it's live, and we can both fall on our faces, right? So that's a bit of a cliff. But it's more of a cliff than you think, because when you think back, I was telling you, we finally were doing things that people loved, right? And we've been performing out of the house, and people love. Well, they love that music. Most of them love it more than my, regular improvs or my healing music, which is very. So anyway, we have to, at our age, to take a risk on music. It's like, one more time. We're going to relegate ourselves to the dustbin of history musically.
Well, that happened to the Pharaoh too. So hey.
And James has carried in this ambition that someday he was going to make it. And we thought we might actually make it, whatever making it actually means, but now it's like, no, we're
We're
not
going to
going
be
to.
true to
Yeah,
ourselves and make music that we love.
because we're doing music that is kind of like a fusion of classical, which is a very unpopular genre of music, with jazz, which is the next most unpopular
In terms of record sales.
record sales. True. So we are combining elements from the two least
Mm-hmm.
popular forms of music, and we're putting them together in our own way, improvising at the same time. So it could be madness, and then we throw in whatever else comes in. So it is. How are we jumping off the cliff? Is that we are freeing ourselves from what we believe people want. Now, surprise us, millions of people will be lining up on Facebook to listen to our joint improv.
Joint
right?
improvs,
And
yeah.
we would be very surprised. And trust me, it will not happen. But, but for us on an emotional level, we are giving up something that finally, at the last years of our lives, was going to bring us something, some satisfaction, some benefit that, you know what I'm saying.
Positive audience response.
Positive audience response. And we're giving it up. So, is there fear for something that we never know? I start improvise, and he has to figure out what to sing with me, and I don't ever do the same thing twice, and I don't play the same melody, and it's all over the place.
It is.
So, what does that mean? We're giving up something that we know gives us satisfaction and gives us some connection with an audience, and we're giving it up for artistic integrity. Because, well, there are two issues for me. First, doing songs is very hard on my body. It's much easier for me to improvise. Oh,
and Jenny says, listening to music sure helps my terrible anxiety so much.
Oh, that's true for a lot of people, Jenny. A lot of people. And I hope that you find that our music is going to still help you with your anxiety instead of creating more anxiety with our crazy playing. But so yes, it is much better for me to play the piano improvisationally, because then I don't have to worry about stretches and notes and all that stuff that make it very hard for me to play, and I just play what my body says, okay, do this right now. But whereas if I play a song, I have to play chords and so you see what I mean? That is the song. So instead of right? So anyway, there is that. But on a deeper level, this is not about me giving myself a break around my body. This is about my heart, what I want to play. I've been sharing it with James. I don't want to play those songs. Everybody loves the songs. I love the songs. I don't want to hear them anymore. I don't want to play them. You know what I mean?
Well, I want to interject here that what happens to a lot of musicians
yes.
is that they wind up doing the same songs over and over and over and over because that's what the audience wants to hear. And they get frustrated because they're not being as creative as they would like to be.
Yeah, but they've got so much money on the line and so much prestige and all that,
Right.
and a lot of them sell themselves out.
Right.
And don't want to do it anymore. So I don't want to do the same songs. I don't even want to do songs. I just want to improvise. God told me to improvise because that would be the best way for my body. And I'm taking that seriously. But I also love jumping out into the unknown. Makes me feel alive. So now you see, this is an example of something that maybe on the outside doesn't look like that big of a deal. It's not like something we've done before. Like we came to Oregon on a vacation, and I said I'm not leaving. And I told James that the dog and I were staying. So whatever he did, it was up to him. So now that was really crazy, and that was jumping in. We hadn't sold our house, we hadn't packed anything, we hadn't prepared anything. It's just okay, we're moving, we're here. We never went back.
And I decided to stay with her and the dog.
He did. So that looks like a much bigger thing, but on the inside, giving up the appreciation for for yourself, giving up love, giving up attention and recognition can be a really big jump.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now I'm going to tell you about one more story about me, and then I want to shift the focus to you.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 16 years old, I went off to an Ivy League college. Some of you already know the story. I went to an Ivy League college, and I was a scholarship girl, and I came from a very poor family, and it was an amazing thing that I had this opportunity to study at this a very expensive, prestigious school. And shortly after I got there, I was contacted by some students because I had written a letter to the New York Times about ban the bomb, and these students said they were going to picket the White House, and did I want to come? I didn't know who these people were, and as it turned out, there were exactly 14 students picketing the White House.
Right.
It was a Thanksgiving demonstration. Hunger strike, yes. Anyway, all 14 of us showed up at the White House, and I said, yeah, sure, I'm going, because I believed in nuclear disarmament. So, but it happened on a day where the Grinchy dean said, you cannot cut a class because it's before Thanksgiving. And I knew that that was not permitted. Very big deal. In today's world, you know, you could be caught, I don't know, having sex with the president of the university, and they would say, you know, but in that time, cutting a class before Thanksgiving was tantamount to traitorship. What is traitorship? There is a word.
Treason.
Treason. Anyway, so I went to the dean, and I said, I have to tell you that I have to miss one class to go to this demonstration. They already knew about my letter. They were already trying to expel me from the school, but, you know, whatever. So she said to me, if you go, we'll teach you a lesson you'll never forget.
Starting with expelling you.
Well, I didn't know they were going to expel me.
Okay.
But they did end up expelling me. Looks like we have a lovely...
Oh, yes. Amy, thank you for this topic and sharing your perspectives. I always love your shows.
Thank you,
Thank
Amy.
you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
And Blanquita says, hello, Beth and James, and she says a heart of love. Back to you. Hola.
Blanquita. So, I was scared. I was really scared. And why was I scared? Because my whole life was hanging in the balance. I was going to this prestigious college. I was only 16 years old, and I had spent the prior year and a half in bed or a chair being ill, and it was a miracle that I got into college at all. I didn't have any learning in the last year and a half of school. And here I had this opportunity, and of course I was going to become a professor, and I was going to live a different life, unlike my parents, who were poor working class people, right? And I was pleasing my parents, and anyway, what do you think I did, guys? I jumped off the cliff. And I was in the car with a bunch of students whom I didn't know, who were going up to Washington, D.C. By the way, the school was in Massachusetts. And I thought, all I have to do is open the door and I can jump out. You know, I can still stop this. And I knew that they were going to come down on me. This very prestigious, wealthy, social class, right, kind of people. And here we were, a bunch of poor schnooks. And they were going to squash me like a bean that's been boiled. And let me tell you, they did. They hounded me, they harassed me, they expelled me. And they said I would never be able to get into another college. But now, why am I telling you this? Because I stood that test, and I went anyway. I went anyway. I didn't tell my parents, I didn't tell anybody, but I was one of 14 people marching around the White House, and my face was on the front cover of the New York Times. And my mother and father knew people who read the New York Times, and there it was. And so they squashed me. Now, did that impact me? A lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot it impacted me, just like they had hoped. But they didn't break me, because I snuck into college. They said they were going to make sure I could never get into another college, because they implied that I had been cheating, and that's what they were putting in my record. Well, of course I wasn't cheating. I missed one class. You know what I mean? Before calendar day. So anyway, in the end, after being expelled, I found a way to get back into college, and the rest is history. because my life went in a different direction. And I did not go on to a life in academia, even though I actually ultimately got a fellowship from Cornell and a 4-year fellowship and all that. But I never made that choice to go down the easy path. And so the result, even though I went into a deep depression, got crazy, got married, and became a drunk, I got over that. I'm serious. And I have been jumping off cliffs ever since. And that cliff reminds me of the cliff that we're facing now, because I gave up something that looked like it was going to be a sure thing for something that I felt integrity about. I love improvising with James, and we will improvise together tomorrow, in addition to me doing my own improvs. So tune in if you want to hear us.
Jenny says, you are so amazing.
Well, thank you. No, I'm just crazy and driven. But you know, my heart has to feel integrity, or it's not worth it. The price of not going would have been higher than the price of going. And at this point, you know, I kept saying to James, we should improvise together. We should improvise together. I have to improvise. It's what I need for my body. I don't want to sing those songs anymore. And finally, he said, yes. And he said, yeah, I want to do it too. So it was very exciting. Now, what I want you, oh, my God.
And Judith said, did you know James then? Is he the one you married then?
Oh, God, no. James is my fourth husband.
We met in our mid-60s.
In our mid-60s, would you believe? We're going on 12 years. And I finally met somebody who is almost as crazy as I am, but
yeah, we're very
quite.
compatible that
But
way.
we are very compatible. And when I met James, I didn't even play music because I couldn't. I was too crippled to play music. And then God told me when I was 74 to buy a piano and improvise, and I did. So anyway, I hope you're a little inspired. Now,
you were 73 when you got the guidance, but you were only able to start playing when you were 74.
Exactly, because I broke my arm.
Right.
As soon as we got the piano, I broke my arm. So anyway, what do I want you to do? Did I become more or less courageous from having that horrible experience? I became more courageous.
There you go. Judith says, fourth? Beth, you shock me.
Do I? No, I don't. You've lived long enough. Some people stay married for 50 years, but not me, because I'm always jumping off cliffs. So anyway, something doesn't feel right to me. I'm going to change. And I'm really glad for that. So that's really cute, Judy. Anyway, I became more courageous because I survived. And I think that if you have a bad experience, and I want you to think about an experience that you had where you felt like you were taking a risk.
Judith says, you need to write your life story.
I really do, but I can't write because my arms hurt too much. But find me a secretary who won't charge anything and who will take dictation, and I will write my life. So you have no idea what a life I've had. But anyway, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't have a good memory, so I don't remember a lot of it. But now I'm asking you to think about your own life. When have you faced choices like that, where you knew that if you did something, that it was going to alter your life in some way? Judy says, dictate.
Yeah, she wants you to dictate.
Yeah, you mean like into a machine? It doesn't work that well with my little squeaky voice. I've tried that. But anyway, I need my arms for the piano. I don't have time to write the story of my life. I'm too busy living.
Amy, she can read a lot of it on your web. Oh, yeah. You, Judith, can read a lot of it on the website.
Yeah, you're very right.
You
Beth
have a biography
Green,
there.
I have 2 biographies at bethgreen.org. There are 2 biographies. One of them is my general biography, which has a lot of my journey. And then there is the musical biography, which is also very interesting,
Yeah.
And that's a great idea. Thank you,
Thank you,
Amy.
Amy.
Again,
Thank
Amy
you.
is always coming up with these great ideas. So, but now I want you to look back on something that for you was revolutionary, that was really you thought was going to change your life in some way and in maybe some negative way. Think about the experience and what happened to you. Eh,
Mm-hmm.
Think of something. Jump into a relationship, have an argument with your parents, and get disowned like I did. Uh, so many things.
Well, I've got mine.
Okay.
The first thing that comes to mind to me is that uh, when I got guidance to move from South Texas to the West Coast, I didn't have enough money to cover the gas expense, but I went ahead anyway. And I just so happened to, I was a hypnotherapist, and I happened to have some clients along the way that I could do sessions with. So that raised just enough to get to Los Angeles. And then there was a very happy client of mine who told a bunch of other people about my work, and I did sessions with them. And then I had enough money to go on up to Northern California and then to Southern Oregon. And so I just took the risk. And
And it worked out.
It worked out.
See, but I'm asking people, did you have an experience where you took a chance and maybe it didn't work out so well? And then the question is, how did it impact you that the right where things didn't work out? You had a child you weren't ready to have. You moved to a place where there was no support. You got in a relationship with someone who beat you. I did that too. And did that make you scared? Or did it make you more courageous? And now I'm going to ask you, what cliff are you facing now? If you are. And everybody is always facing some kind of a cliff where you say, oh my God, if I do that, if I express this opinion, will I lose all my friends?
Ah, right.
Right?
And if we take this, if we've already taken this jump, will we lose our audience?
Will we lose our audience? And we may. We really may lose our audience. And so then, oh well.
Oh, well.
Being a musician without an audience is nothing new for us. So I want you to seriously think about
Here we go. We've got one. Amy. She says, the first week I was doing my internal medicine internship in the 80s, I was so overwhelmed that I stopped. I was told that if I left, I would never get a job later on. I left anyway. A few years later, I tried it again, was able to handle it, and let me see, and have had medical work ever since then.
Okay, so we have two triumphs here where you took a chance and things really worked out. And that's wonderful. And has that made you more courageous now? But maybe it didn't work out that well. And how were you impacted by that? So I want you to look at that too. Now, I can't believe the time has flown away like this.
Yeah.
But I want to bring up one other major point here. Really, what jumping off the cliff actually means is that we are releasing something that gives us a sense of safety even when it is not right for us. And it could be agreeing with your parents, or agreeing with your, the political views of your friends on Facebook, or just, anything. Sticking with some medical procedure that the doctors believe in, but you don't.
Judith says, Beth, you and James aren't going to lose your people because you two are such interesting, fascinating folks.
Oh, great.
Thank you, Judith.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, we
You're
hope
great.
to see you as we release our music and as we do it on our Thursday night show. Thursday night, 7 p.m. Pacific
Yeah,
time.
tomorrow night we're going to have our first
That's right.
on that show
Yeah.
of our dual
Right.
improvisation.
So it's on our show, Beth Green's Magical Piano improvisations, which are now going to include some of James'
vocal improvisations.
So I love that, Judy. You make us feel so good. You make us feel so good. But anyway, the point is that regardless of the fear that comes up, we need to free ourselves. We need to free ourselves from the ideas, the constraints, the typical ways of doing things, the traditions of our families, of our communities, of our nations, the attitudes that maybe we haven't truly confronted. We need to free ourselves on the inside from having to be popular, from having to be approved of, from having to be earn money sometimes.
Yeah.
We need to truly free ourselves, and that's what our new music is all about.
And we have another comment.
All right.
Amy says, I knew you were going to say that. The truth is that I have never felt comfortable doing medical work and have instead been pursuing my passion, playing the harp. I can't handle the pace of the medical work and jumped off the cliff of having a sure income, and am now mostly an itinerant musician.
Right on, itinerant musician. Thank God I've got another source of income other than being an itinerant musician. But that is it. Letting go of the thing that makes us feel safe is letting go of the thing that really endangers our souls, because we swallow things that we shouldn't. We agree to things that we know are wrong. We get on the bandwagon of stuff because we feel safe, or we do things that are expected of us instead of doing what our heart's desire are.
Yeah.
They are things, so I guess, anyway, I can't remember their R is. But that's it. So we are doing, when I say that we're improvising together, I mean I do free improvisation. There are no chords planned. There is no melody. Anyone who has watched me improvise know that I just sit down and this music just pours out. And have somebody who is going to be improvising with me when there's no pattern, there's no shape, there's no nothing. That is being free. That's letting yourself jump off a cliff on a musical level, free our souls, free our minds. That's why I am telling you about this, because I want to support you to think clearly about what you do, but free yourself from the need to please or agree with or follow traditions that you know deep in your heart are wrong.
And by the way, our first video of that is on this Facebook page, and it's called Two Birds in Flight.
That's right. And we recorded this last night, and it's on facebook.com/Granny Rocks On. So you can watch us, and Judy has already been there, and Amy and Todd. There are several people, and Karen have already been there and have given us support and love. Thank you.
And Todd says sends lots of musical notes and lots of caring and love.
And
Thank
we
you, Todd.
send caring and love to you. If you jump off the cliff, you will not be alone, because you can go down holding our hands too.
Yeah, and Blanquita sends a big bouquet of flowers. Thank you, Blanquita.
Gracias,
Muchas gracias.
Blanquita. So we have to go. And we love you. And come back every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Be here live. That was so much fun having a live audience as usual. And Thursday night at 7 p.m., Beth Green's Magical Piano Improvisations, now with Sweet Baby James.
Yep.
Bye-bye.